I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Okay, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is the 588th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Producer Kate is down at the controls, making sure everything is running wonderfully. And you are all there in the chat, whether you're here on YouTube or you're here on X, Twitter, whichever one you want to call it, or you're here via Facebook or Rumble, or if you're here listening to it on the audio podcast platform, at our home link, the political, what is it called? What is our home link called? The Political Spotlight.fireside.fm. There, or you can be here via Apple Podcast or Amazon Music or Castbox or Pocket Cast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, one of those podcast players. You can be listening to us or watching us lots of different ways, and we thank you for being here and being a part of this. We ask only a couple of things from you. We don't do Patreon. We don't want people to pay to get more information. We don't put out information here on YouTube where it's just for members only. We feel that everything that we put out here is important and that everybody should be able to hear it, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or X or Twitter or the podcast platforms. We want everybody to hear. There's nothing that I'm like, well, if somebody pays me $20, they get this information. No. I want everybody to hear it. So the only thing that we ask of you, it's very simple. Tune in and listen. We don't even ask that you agree with us. You can disagree vehemently. You can disagree. Watch the show. Use your own head to listen to what's being said. Research, and you're welcome to debate with us. Agree with us, disagree, whatever. Communicate. You can do that if you're here. Specifically, if you're here on YouTube, you can communicate and other people can see it. That's always cool. If you're interested in doing that. If you are interested in giving a little bit of money to the cause, you can do that here on YouTube. It's not required. We don't ask you to do it. I just let you know that you can from time to time. And we appreciate each and every person that does that periodically. The main thing is that you watch, that you listen, and that you share the show with people that you know, maybe people that you don't know. Help get the word out. That's big. Spread the word. Share the link. If you are looking for a way to help us, The main thing I say is if you're on one of the other platforms, we love you wherever you're at, but YouTube helps us. If you can watch from YouTube, that's a way that you can help us that doesn't cost you anything. So maybe consider that. And then if you are on YouTube, obviously, do the YouTube things. Smash that like button, click the bell, subscribe if you're not, yada, yada, yada. You know how it is. Well, I will tell you, I had planned I had planned a very different show for tonight. And I had a couple of different things that we were going to talk about. And then at what exactly time was it? At 6:42, something happened which caused my phone to start blowing up. It was nuts. Like my mother contacted me first about it and was like, "Hey, have you hearing this?" And I was like, "No." And so I was watching and listening to what she was doing. And then I was being just inundated by people. And it was interesting because it was people from all over. It was not just people from Henry County. It was like literally people from all over. I was waiting on Alva to send me something. Hell, Alva's in Louisiana. I did get people from outside of the state of Indiana that was saying, "Hey, have you heard this, listeners far and wide?" 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, sorry, I had to count that down. So we were getting people saying, "Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this?" And it was the same thing. Everybody was sharing with me video of the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sheriff John M. Sproles. Your sheriff, my sheriff, our sheriff together, not my sheriff. My sheriff is a normal man, is a normal human being, is a good guy. He's a good public servant. He knows his job. He knows his role as an elected official, as a top copper. He knows that, and he is a decent human being. Of course, my sheriff, at least for the next year, is Tony Skinner, and so he's a good guy. That's here in Delaware County. However, in Henry County, they have a little bit different story. They have somebody down there that is, I was going to say, Miller. I was going to say a man-child. He's like a man-child. But it's not even, there's not man in there. He's just like a child. But children are supposed to be good and nice and loving and cool, and you see them and they make you happy and things. And my grandmother says that made me sound weird. I'm not, you know what I mean? Kids are supposed to be normal. He's like a bad child. Sproles is like Macaulay Culkin in that one movie where Macaulay Culkin throws the brick off the overpass when he's a kid, the good brother or something. You know what I'm talking about, Kate? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Your kids, every one of your kids kind of look like Macaulay Culkin in that movie. And they all kind of scared me. I remember one of the very first times eating at your house across from, not the youngest one, but the second up. Yeah. And he was just sitting there staring at me. And I was eating, and he wasn't staring at me directly. It wasn't like this. He was like this, sitting, like looking kind of off. And I think at one time he might have picked his nose, maybe, but he was just so, like steady while he did it. Like it was like a madman. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna get out of here alive. He kind of looked like Macaulay Culkin. That was always a movie that scared the hell out of me as a little kid. Here, Macaulay Culkin was like this nice Home Alone kid. And then the very next movie he's in, he's like bashing people's brains in, and he's like this little psycho kid. That was a scary movie. Whatever. Anyways. And then
to be fair,
yeah, okay.
That one's Eddie.
Yeah.
And Eddie, we named so he would get specific initials.
Okay.
So he would have EH for his initials, like my dad and my brother.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so we just picked two names that we liked, Edmund and Hamish. So we made the mistake of not looking those up prior to actually putting it on the birth certificate.
Yeah.
The meanings of both those names are conqueror. So the child is conqueror.
Yes, but so both of them. Yeah.
Us too.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
He's very, very smart.
Yeah.
And he has this personality that he is either going to do something that fundamentally change the world for the better, or he's going to jail. And there's no
right. Yes, or yes. I tell you, I definitely can understand it. I get where you're coming from there, and I will tell you, it's this right here. I'm gonna show you right here. I set, and everyone's like, "What's this got to do with anything?" It is important. I promise. It doesn't seem like it is, but it is. I sat across from Kate's family eating one time when I first met her, and this kid looked just like this. Just sitting there staring at me, looking like this kid. I was afraid he was going to throw something, bash my head or something. Anyways, okay. That's the kind of kid that John Sproles is. He's the mean little kid that, like the kid that you're like, hey, I just got this great big house of cards built. Don't come in here stomping around. And he's just sitting there looking at the door, and he just all it's in his mind is, I'm going to knock that house of cards down. And he goes in knocking that house of cards down. Or you tell the kid, hey, don't play baseball in the front of the yard because you're going to knock a baseball through the window. And then that's the only thing they want to do is not. That's John Sproles. He literally is the opposite of any other kind of like leadership position in law enforcement, or just any kind of leadership ever. These people are supposed to look at problems and be able to smooth the issue out. If they can't fix the problem, they're supposed to like triage and kind of, make it better, and at least try to calm everything down. That is the exact opposite of everything John Sproles is about. John Sproles, it's in the Beatles song, take a sad song and make it better. Like Sproles is the opposite. Take a sad song and make it worse. That's Sproles. He can take a problem and make it a bigger problem. He can take a big problem and make it the biggest problem. And I hate it. But I told the people of Henry County, do not elect John Sproles. Do not elect him. And unfortunately, you guys did. You did. So he did 26, 25, 24, 23. Okay, so yeah, so John Sproles took over in January 23. If he runs for re-election, he'll start, and if he wins, he would start his next term next year, January of 2027. I don't think Henry County has it to do another 4 years of Sproles. Has anybody heard Is Sproles running for re-election? Has he announced that he's running for re-election? Yeah, Admiral Eric. His catchphrase, his motto, it's like opposite day where he's at. Do justice, love mercy, and be humble. And it's like, dude, Sproles doesn't know what any of those things mean. So it's January 2023, and I knew I would do it. I always do that wrong with the dates. It's January 13th, 2026 is what I was trying to say. It's January 13th, 2026. And that means we're 13 days into the new year. We were 10 days into the new year when the craziness happened with the Sheriff's Department. And then now we're only 13 days into the new year when the sheriff says, me too, I want to play. So we are officially under a Sproles Watch. We are under a Sproles Watch, ladies and gentlemen. It is official. This is the first Sproles Watch of the year. So I think that would mean, obviously, we're Sproles Watch 2026-1. Okay. I'll tell you, a lot of people have wondered, like, what's he doing? He's been really quiet, at least, I would say, the last half of last year. It's almost like he figured it out, like, hey, I just won't say anything, and that'll stop a lot of my problems. But I knew he couldn't remain silent forever. And Kate said this the other day. I didn't say this. I had stepped away for a second. And Kate had said this, that, and this is true. I will tell her. I mean, I will. She's absolutely right. I talk to a lot of people in law enforcement. Frequently. That is right, Ella. That is right. I also told people to vote for J.D. Prescott at one time, but, we'll forget that. Yeah, Randy Howard's the only official candidate. That's the thing. We'll talk about that too later. But I talked to a lot of people in small town departments, big city police departments, sheriff's departments, national law enforcement, FBI, DEA. I've got friends and connections in all of these, and a lot of the sheriff's departments that I talk to laugh at Henry County. They laugh at John Sproles. They make fun of John Sproles. They laugh at the department. And that's because of John Sproles. A lot of hot air and a chance of beanbags raining down from point blank range. That's good, Sir Baldwin. That's good. That's because he has his big brother. Yes. Well, so there are literally departments where the leadership will say to their guys, don't pull a Sproles. Don't go out and Sproles us. We can't handle a Sproles here. Like, it's actually working its way into the local law enforcement jargon. And so that's because he's off of his rocker, man. He was never designed for this role. He's not a good police officer. He's not a good leadership, in role. He is egotistical. He's not a good public servant. He is sloppy. He's did I say egotistical? And if I didn't say egotistical, I really want to drive home that he is egotistical. Admiral. Be careful out there and don't pull a Sproles. And don't pull a Sproles this shift. Yeah, things like that. Absolutely. So what are we talking about? Okay. What will you be remembered for? Yes, right. So for everybody, I'm sure for the majority of you that are here, you're aware of the show that we did Sunday evening. It's just Tuesday, right? It's just Tuesday. Last night was Monday. The day before was Sunday. We did a Sunday show about an event that happened on Saturday. And then now it's Tuesday and we have Sproles. So just as a quick reminder, we have a vehicle that is driving long ways through Newcastle, Henry County. Okay. The county that is just to the south of Delaware, where I'm at. A husband and wife are in the vehicle. Wife is driving. That is important. Keep this in mind, no matter what happens for the rest of this video. Wife is driving. Wife is driving. Yes. I will play that in just a minute, Joe. That is good. You are right. Wife is driving, and wife is named Amy. Okay. Amy is in control of the vehicle. If God forbid there had been a wreck, Amy would have been driver one. If it would have been her fault, she would have been driver one of vehicle one. If she had been the person that had been hit, if it was someone else, she would have been driver one of vehicle two. Okay. Her husband would have been listed as passenger one or passenger in vehicle one. He is the passenger. If in my law enforcement days, I would have pulled this vehicle over for speed or for anything, I would have went up and I would have got the information from the driver. And I probably would have been like, who are you guys? What's going on here? But listen, and there was all sorts of things said. I want to be very clear. If you stop a vehicle in the state of Indiana for speed or for turn signal violation or for unsafe movement, as a police officer walking up, you're free to ask anybody and everybody in the vehicle for ID. But the only person and I saw this and I didn't even clarify this the other night, and I'm not going to get into a big fight about it tonight. I'm just going to tell you, I've walked the walk. The only person that is required to give you ID at that point is the driver. Now, if you walk up to the car and you see in plain sight a green leafy plant-like substance that looks to be, from your training and experience, looks to be marijuana, or you see pills just loose or something of that nature, and you see the passenger reach and tuck it and hide it, now we're getting into, if you get some sort of issue going on, you've got some reasonable suspicion, you've got probable cause, now things are different. But if we're just talking about a simple infraction traffic stop, speed, license plate lights out, driver's headlights are out, anything, touching left of center, just some kind of infraction. The only person that is required by law to give you ID is that of the driver. So officer walks up because there is a, now here's the thing. And the other issue here is people are absolutely. And the officer is free to ask all the questions in the world of these people. And the passenger can engage or not engage. The passenger can be happy. The passenger can be mad. Okay? The driver can be happy. The driver can be mad. The other thing I want to say, because I'm seeing a lot of people arguing about this, the deputy that made the traffic stop that day, and I agree with Sproles on this, the deputy that made the stop was absolutely 100% in his right, legal to make a traffic stop. I know he was in plain clothes. I know he was off duty, but he did fit one of the couple of criteria that allows for a traffic stop to be made. He was driving in his fully marked police vehicle. It's marked in the way that their other marked vehicles are. It says sheriff plainly down the side. It had blue and red lights, and it had a siren, and he was permitted to pull them over. Off duty, okay? Even in plain clothes. Now, it's weird. It's really weird. Henry County has some kind of obsession with this. I've never heard of another agency that pulls more stunts like this, pulling people over, making traffic stops, doing all of this weird shit when people are off duty and in plain clothes. They act like a small town department. They act like a small town department. And I'm not knocking small towns, but we've all known there are some small towns that are wonderful. And then there are these other small towns, and I'm not even mentioning anything in Henry County. I'm mentioning things in Delaware County or things in Randolph County. I'm talking about small towns elsewhere, okay? Where you've got small town cops that are chomping at the bit to be doing something, and their reserves are out of whack, and even the full-time guys are out of whack, and they're out here doing secret squirrel Rambo shit, and they do stuff. And that's what Henry County's like. Okay, it's really strange. So legally, he can pull him over, but it's just like, why? What are you achieving by this stop? So he pulls them over for, I'm not even exactly sure what. Failure to signal, improper lane change, something like this. Makes the traffic stop. He walks up on the passenger side of the vehicle, which he's permitted to do. He speaks over the over the passenger to the driver. Can I get your license and registration, please? He does not ask the passenger for the passenger's license or ID. Now, by law, he can ask for them. He can ask for them, but the passenger could say, no, I don't have them. I'm not giving them to you. Whatever. Screw off. I don't like you. Okay? But he didn't even do that. Now, what we heard and what I told you before the sheriff came out, before the sheriff's statements, I told you that the people inside the vehicle, the husband and the wife, they were confused about why they were being pulled over. And they were asking and trying to understand, why is this going on? Why are you pulling us over? Who are you? You're in plain clothes. What's the deal? This doesn't seem right. You know, you seem to have been driving aggressively, and whatever was going on, it was as a result of your fault. And I don't understand. I don't feel comfortable with this. So the plainclothes deputy off duty walks back to his vehicle, and he runs it on his computer, calls it in, whatever. And the husband, the passenger, who, for in all seriousness, could get out of the vehicle, and walk away. He's not stopped. The driver is. Now, most officers are going to get a little hinky if that happens, whatever, you know, ask some questions, but I'm just talking here. Okay? So the passenger sees a trooper in a fully marked vehicle, assumes the trooper's on, and the husband opens the door and tries to wave the trooper down, tries to bring more law enforcement into the scene. He's not trying to run. He's not trying to get out and fight. He's not even cussing and carrying on. He's trying to wave the trooper down. The plainclothes deputy waves the trooper on. Now, you can move on. We don't need you here. I'm A-okay. Signal 38. Good. Okay, I'm good. Okay. He tells the passenger to sit back into the vehicle and, you know, shut the door, sit back. Passenger complies. Deputy walks up, plainclothes. Deputy walks up, gives the license back. Bing, 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 bing. The traffic stop is over. Hands the registration back, hands the license back. I'm not going to write you a ticket. Listen, you don't have anything on your driver's record. I'm not going to give you a ticket. Just giving you a warning. Hands it back. At that point, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are in the crowd that are law enforcement officers, sing it with me. He gives the license and registration back and says, "You're free to go." At that point, the traffic stop is over. It's done. Traffic stop is over. He said, "You're free to go." At that point, as we all know, if you're free to go, you're free to stay. If you're free to stay, you're free to go. You're ready to rock and roll. He tells them they're free to go. That doesn't mean that the passenger is any more happy about what's going on, is still confused, still trying to figure out what is going on. Door is open. The door is cracked ajar, and he's trying to stand up and looking. And the cop then says, "Again, I told you you're free to go. You now go." And I'm sure that the passenger was maybe cursing. No harm, no foul. Okay. And it is what it is. And then that's when at some point the deputy decides to go hands-on and wrestling and trying to jerk this guy out of the car, pulls his coat or his hoodie or the little jacket or shirt or whatever, pulls it off, throws it out into the mud, and then walks back to the car as the passenger is saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Now, as we discussed, it's not like somebody sent me a message and said, "Where's the original video? I want to see the original video. I don't want to see where you've edited it, where you've cut it." I said, that is the original video. That is the video. It would have been nice if she was recording beforehand. It would have been nice if they had dash cams. Everybody needs to think about this. Might invest in this. A little investment might save you someday. Okay? Only when things got really crazy, she's like, "Oh, I need to flip this on." She called 911. When the deputy pulls the passenger's shirt off and throws it out, he goes back to his car to call backup. And his backup is another off-duty sheriff's deputy. What in the absolute hell? Why? It's like there's two departments in Henry County. There's an on-duty department that's working their on duty, and then there's another department that's like their off-duty response team. And they just roll around responding off-duty to things. This is because this is what Sproles has taught them. Man, when Sproles is gone, whether he runs and he does another term or not, whatever, when Sproles is long gone, there is going to have to be a serious retraining of everybody on the sheriff's department in Henry County. Because Sproles has damaged these guys. The deputy gets his back up there, and the two plainclothes deputies that do not identify themselves manhandle the passenger, get him out, put him in handcuffs. At one point, and I don't know exactly when and where this happened, the man is punched in the head. They punch him in the head. He doesn't have weapons. He's not resisting. He's asking questions. And they arrest him for disorderly conduct and resisting law enforcement. And that's what he was booked into jail, preliminarily booked into jail. And we're going to get all these records. Okay. And everybody says, I say, we put out the show Sunday. It goes out. Everybody's aware. And everyone's making fun. Okay. He literally got arrested for disorderly conduct out on Highway 3, south of town. There's no houses around. No one's being disturbed. There's no funeral. There's no church service. There's no government meeting. There's nothing. So disorderly conduct is a joke. Furthermore, the Indiana Supreme Court in the last several years have been very clear that you cannot, as a police officer, consider yourself or other law enforcement officers as the people who someone is disturbing during a disorderly conduct deal. So if it's yourself and 2 or 3 other officers and someone is yelling or being loud, they're not disturbing you. So you can't use that. So we laughed and we joked about that. Then they hit him for resisting law enforcement. And we knew, hey, the reason that he got dinged for disorderly is because they know, they're smart enough to know you can't just arrest him for resisting. Okay? So that's what's going on. The cop hurt him. Okay, the cop hurt his hand in punching him, and that's where the battery charge comes from. The guy might have been mouthy. I don't know anything about him. Could be a good guy, could be a bad guy, could be a right asshole. I don't know. And I'm not saying that. I'm playing devil's advocate, okay? And maybe he was mouthing this guy the whole way. It's not disorderly conduct. It's not. And maybe he was mouthing, but I tell you what we saw on camera, even in the short segment, was he wasn't yelling. He was talking quieter than I am right now. He's saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" Maybe he says, we didn't hear it, but maybe he's even saying, "What the hell are you doing?" Okay. We see he's raising his hands up. He's raising his hands up. Now, since all of this has happened and since the Sunday show, I have had a brief little moment to talk with both the driver and the passenger. And, he's been preliminarily charged. We do not currently have formal charges, so I don't know what the prosecutor's office is going to do. Hopefully they don't do anything. Hopefully they look at this and see it for what it is and send it on down the river. Hopefully they don't interject themselves into this and make this a bigger mess. Who knows? But because that's a possibility, and because who knows what goes on, I don't know. Maybe these people are talking to attorneys. Maybe they're not. But I'm not going to get into a bunch of their conversation with me, my conversation with them, because I don't want to do anything that hurts any of his possible defense if there are criminal charges, or their possible suit if there is, in fact, a lawsuit. Okay, but I will tell you that I asked him what was going on with his hands. And he did say, "I was putting my hands up because I didn't want to get shot. I didn't know what was going on. This was getting crazy. This guy was trying to rip me out of the car. So I didn't know what they were planning. So I made sure to put my hands up. I didn't want to get shot." Smart. I get it. Okay. Yeah. Alva, that's exactly right, Alva. And now I'm gonna play this. It's only a few seconds. I'm gonna play this so you guys can get a full understanding of this quick little clip. It's important. It's only 13 seconds. Okay. I'm gonna play this here, and Alva is spot on. Now maybe that camera went off and maybe he just completely came unglued. He became unhinged. I'm going to be serious. I doubt that. I don't believe that for a second. I believe what you hear in this audio is how it was. Okay. Let's listen here.
Me, Bob? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm recording you.
What are you doing, Bob? What the fuck are you doing to me?
Okay, so he did curse there once.
What are you doing?
He said, "What are you doing, bub?" I mean, he's not even being, sounds like he's a little, he's not even angry. He's like a little perturbed. "What are you doing, bub? What are you doing? What are you, let's, yeah, Clinton, that's exactly right. Like scared. And look, I'm not saying that this guy's scared and he's like a little, I'm not saying that. But look, when you're dealing with people who have the ability to take your liberty, to take your freedom, and have the ability to take your life, people you need, and that they appear to be unhinged at times, it's smart to be a little fearful. Okay, so let's listen to this. Here we go. And when you listen to it the second time around, the driver is actually more vocal, louder than the passenger is. Okay,
Me, Bob.
Get off me is what he says right there. Get off me. And here's the other thing. And I'm going to say that this is going to be the perfect defense for this gentleman. You don't hear Deputy Plainclothes saying, come out of the car, you're under arrest, quit resisting. He never says any of that. He does not say, give me your hands, come out of the car, quit resisting. He doesn't say any of that. He's not giving, ding, 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 Kate said it perfectly. He is not giving him any commands. No commands. So when they're going to claim that this is resisting, I'm sorry, but I don't think so. So let's listen to this again.
Me, Bob.
Get off me. Get off me, bub. What are you now he says it for the first time. What are you doing here? Okay, we'll count them.
What are you doing?
1.
Yeah, I'm recording you.
2.
What the fuck are you doing to me?
3. And that time he said, what the F are you doing to me? So he did say that 3 times. We'll continue on. 3.
What are you doing?
4.
Me, Bob. What are
You
doing?
grabbed me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm recording.
So he says, you grabbed me. And then 4 times he says, what are you doing? And one of those times he says, what the F are you doing? Okay. And he's not yelling. He's not screaming. And she's not even screaming or yelling. She's more voluminous than he is, but they're both well under control. Meanwhile, Deputy Plainclothes is never uttering a word. Okay. So they take him to jail. The cops that get there based off of her 911 call, they never talk to her. No one ever identifies who these arresting officers are. No one in uniform actually takes him. The plainclothes deputy actually ends up taking him to jail. He's booked into jail initially for disorderly conduct and resisting law enforcement. Okay. The wife bails him out of jail, which cost a pretty penny. Okay. It cost a good chunk of money. Okay. And all of that happens. We talk about it. Other people talk about it. It's making its rounds everywhere. It's really kind of blowing up. I mean, I'm getting message after message after message after comment about this. People sharing comments. It's really making its rounds. Okay. And yelling one last time.
Recording you.
What are you doing, Bob? What the fuck are you doing to me?
We'll start from the beginning.
Me, Bob. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm recording
What are
you.
you doing, Bob? What the fuck are you doing to me? What are you doing? You grabbed me, Bob. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm recording
What are you
you.
doing, Bob? What the
She
fuck are you
says, yeah, I'm
doing?
recording you.
What are you
Okay. Yeah, spelled ransom wrong. So, this kind of was what it was. I didn't know, I was like, well, maybe something else will happen with it or won't happen with it, whatever. I filed record request. I'm sure other people are filing record request. I'm sure other people have sent this to other media, to journalists who are reviewing it. Again, I am not a journalist. I'm a political commentator. I am looking at this because of what it is from my angle. I'm sure there are actual journalists that are looking for this. And because of that, Sproles is like twitching. He's twitching. He just can't help himself. when he should have completely shut his mouth. He should have not said a damn thing about any of this. He should have let the records go out and let the records speak for themselves, and he should have done that. But instead, Sproles doubled down. He did what he always does, which is make a bigger mess out of a smaller mess. My dad always used to say, it's funny how dog shit doesn't smell until you step in it. You have a pile of dog shit, and it's just there, and it might not look pretty, and it might not be nice, and, it's unsightly, but it's like locked in. But once you step in it, now you've smeared it everywhere, and you've got something that stinks to high heaven, and that's the situation here. And Sproles almost always does this. Whether it's a problem that he's created, a problem that one of his guys or girls created, he's just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. He's on his way to get himself ice cream. Who knows why he does the things that he does, but he does them. So at 6:42 this evening, Sproles decides to sit down. I can't tell. I don't know. Maybe people know if you know. I can't tell if he's actually in his office at the Justice Center here, or if this is like an office at home, or where he has his like home office. If somebody knows, I don't know which. It kind of looks, the beige walls looks like this would probably be the Justice Center, but I just can't tell 100%. So he sits down here and he starts this. Look like a hospital room. They set this up. At the nut house he's in. I'm going to get in trouble because I said that. Okay, so I'm going to put this up on the screen here, and we're going to listen to the sheriff's words, and we'll do this thing. Okay. Alpha. Okay. Here, I'm gonna give him the full screen. I think he deserves the full screen for this. State hospital approved. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will give it to the sheriff. Sheriff Sproles, take it away.
Hello, my name is John Sproles, and I'm the sheriff of Henry County, Indiana. I want to take a few minutes to address a situation that occurred on January the 10th with one of my off-duty officers who was acting within his lawful duty and obligation of a law enforcement officer, in which the suspect's family is widely circulating a partial video of the incident, trying to portray themselves as innocent victims. You will quickly realize they are not the victims. They are quite the opposite. They are typical law enforcement agitators.
Okay. We are, I'm sure, a man who breaks his vows to God and family would never try to manipulate and lie to the general public. That's absolutely true, sir. That's absolutely true. Very, very, very well said. We're 31 minutes in, or 31 seconds in, and he's already saying crazy things here. Okay, I want you to listen to this. It's crazy. Every word he says is something crazier than the next.
Law enforcement officer, in which the suspect's family is widely circulating a partial video of the incident.
Their family. I'm not related to them. I'm widely circulating it, but I'm not related to them. I don't even know these people. Okay. Or I didn't know them like that. Okay. These people I don't know. Okay. I've just talked briefly to them, but you know, they're just people. But he makes it seem like they are trying to this is now going viral as videos do. They're not circulating it, and I don't think they're trying to circulate it to say one thing or another. They just put it out there, and this is like a thing where it says it speaks for itself. Okay, the video speaks for itself.
Henry County, Indiana. I want to take a few minutes to address a situation that occurred on January the 10th with one of my off-duty officers who was acting within his lawful duty and obligation of a law enforcement officer, in which the suspect's family is widely circulating a partial video of the incident, trying to portray themselves as innocent victims. You will quickly realize they are not the victims. They are quite the opposite. They are typical law enforcement agitators, which
typical law enforcement agitators. Clinton, I love that. He doesn't internet well. Sir, that's perfect. And yes, Kate, that's exactly what is happening here. Okay. This is
our officers have to deal with on a much too often basis. I want to point out the facts of the case that led up to the incident they are circulating in the video. I first want to speak to the professionalism and integrity of my officer. I have never had a complaint about him in any manner whatsoever. In fact, I have had the opposite. I have had people call me to tell me how much they appreciated his care and demeanor in their interactions with him. I want to make this crystal clear right up front. I stand.
Yes, Brian, absolutely.
And 100% behind the actions of my officer and all officers who are acting within their legal duties and obligations as law enforcement officers.
Okay. Let's stop it there for a second. He stands behind his deputy. He stands in front of his deputy. He stands beside his deputy. I don't care where he stands, but of course he does. Of course he does. Because Sheriff Sproles does things just like this. This is his style of law enforcement. This is the way that he conducts himself as a law enforcement officer. He sees nothing wrong with this. Joe says he's so dumb, he's opening the door to another lawsuit against the county. Yeah, listen, all they need, they could have just sat back. They could have just sat back and got themselves sued like mediumly. But he's like, no, that doesn't work. We got to go bigly here. We're going bigly. Bigly wiggly. Bigly piggly wiggly. Okay? I don't understand. It's really quite crazy. He's arguing the case before there are any charges, before there's before there's any kind of criminal case whatsoever. Okay. And look, I want to be clear. Of course he stands behind his officers. Of course he stands side by side with them, because I want you to look at this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Sheriff Sproles doing essentially the same thing. The only thing different here is Sproles' traffic stop in this situation was illegal because Sproles is in plain clothes and he was in an unmarked vehicle. So it was completely illegal. Where this deputy was legal to make the stop, but then things went sideways. So yeah, sure, he's going to stand beside these deputies. Let's continue here. Okay.
I am sick and tired of the media and people who want to play selected clips of a video interaction in an attempt to try to demean this honorable profession of law enforcement. It is precisely this stuff right here that has
How do you get a fair trial after the elected sheriff tells it? Yes. AF 1567. I used to like Sproles before he became sheriff. This role has brought out his true colors. Yes. Brian Pryor, not seen anything in the media yet. Well, fine then. I'm assuming he's referencing me. I don't consider myself a journalist, but I do consider that I fall under the larger scope of media in other, like I'm actually shocked if he is referring to me. I'm shocked that he would be willing to say that. But let's see. What are you pointing something? Okay, here we go.
Exponentially increase the danger to the lives and well-being of our law enforcement officers and their families. My office
Videoing law enforcement makes law enforcement more dangerous. Is that what he's trying to tell us right here? He's trying to tell us that videoing and these videos being sent out, it makes it more dangerous.
Clips of a video interaction in an attempt to try to demean this honorable profession of law enforcement. It is precisely this stuff right here that has exponentially increased the danger to the lives and well-being of our law enforcement officers and their families. My officer's mother called me crying because they are receiving death threats over this short video clip that knowingly, wrongfully portrays this incident in which the suspect put everyone's safety at risk. I will not stand for it.
I don't. AF, you might ask. Stumblefoot might be able to walk you through it. How to change your name, or Google it. I definitely know that you can. I don't know.
I will not tolerate it, and I am sick of it. Now, I want to speak in regard to the other two parties involved, Amy, the driver, and her husband, Brian, the passenger.
Okay. I want to stop here for a second. I want to stop. Yeah, did he have AI write this? Very good possibility. I could see him doing that. Okay. We're getting ready to hear some things where he is going to, in my opinion, dox both of these individuals. Okay? Sproles is using his connection to law enforcement to get the names of these individuals. Now, when I say this, Amy, her name would have been known because during the traffic stop, she was driving and they got her name and it was Ran. He'd never got the passenger's name. And he took the driver's license and the registration back up to the driver, to Amy, and he handed it off. He never knew Brian's information. So at that moment, there would have been no way for any of this to have been known. Then something crazy happened. And I'll be honest, this is almost like an instance of evidence being found after an illegal search. This is almost like fruit of the poisonous tree, because some crazy shit happened after they were free to go, and the officer and his plainclothes backup drugged the guy out, handcuffed him, and arrested him on bogus charges. And only because of that, they were able to then get this guy's information and to dox him, in my opinion, and to go through this. And now the other thing I want to say, well, let's listen to what the sheriff has to say here. He's upset that his family's being threatened, so he doxes them so everyone can threaten. You mean the Bells? Whatever these people's names are. I think it's the Bells. Anyways, it's all the same. I saw that earlier and I was like, what? Who are you talking about? Okay, here we go.
Both have had extensive encounters with law enforcement. Both have been arrested numerous times.
Okay. Sproles is such a creepy, weird loser. He is so full of shit. So this is all public information. If you would know this, whatever, people can find this. I'm going to say a couple things here just to kind of set the record straight here. Okay. Amy, the driver of the vehicle, works at the prison. Okay. She's obviously not like a crazed maniac, drug addict, criminal, murderer. Okay. In the far, 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 far distant past, listen to this. She got dinged for minor consumption. She got dinged for minor consumption. And I think a public intoxication. I can't tell you how many cops that I know that have minor consumption, a misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Everybody was young once, and everybody does some maybe slip up here, there, whatever. Now, okay, let's go a step further. At some point, many years ago, she had a DUI, an OWI, operating while intoxicated, a misdemeanor. One. But nobody cares about that. She could be hired as a teacher with that. She could be hired as a police officer with that. She can run for office with that. And there's nothing, I don't know. That's not multiple arrests. Okay? That's not several arrests. It's just, yeah, right, Joe. I mean, yeah, who knows? And none of this should matter. None of this should matter. This is not arrested several times. just Diane. I'm just floored at this. It's gross what he's doing. Now, let's move on and talk about the passenger. Okay. I think the real question here is, has Amy paid her Gilman's bill? I love you guys. I love all of you. It makes it so much fun. It makes it so fun when you guys know your shit and you understand the assignment and you come prepared. It makes it so much better. Okay. I love it. It's amazing. Her husband, which, as you've noticed, I've only said his name one time. There's no point in saying his name. He's a non-entity here. He has had a time or two with law enforcement. And there are things, and you can go back and you can look and see here or there, and there's explanations and reasons for things that happen. You know, nobody's claiming to be a saint. Nobody's claiming to be a mass murderer. Okay? The bottom line is what Sproles is doing is the grossest form of whataboutism ever. My deputy followed my lead like a madman and did some dumb shit. But what about them? Look what they did. Look what happened 10 years ago in their lives. You know, first and foremost, and I think Sproles forgets this, and I don't know if it's worse that he forgets it as a law enforcement officer or if he forgets it as a supposed Christian. But this country and our criminal justice system and the belief system that I believe, and I thought that the sheriff and I were, you know, it's not like he's a you know, or belongs to the flying spaghetti eating monster religion. You know, I thought we were both Christians. I thought that, you know, he had the understanding of second chances and redemption and being able to pay for your quote unquote crime, supposed to be able to do the time and move on. And the thing is, with the criminal justice system, you're supposed to be able to pay for your crime, so to speak, in the time, probation, whatever, literal money. And then you're supposed to be able to come back and be, you know, forgiven for that.
Now, I have a question, and here's it's a fair question. And
yeah.
Okay, so what would it be if they're habitual offenders? What would that mean here in Indiana, where, you know, your past criminal activity might actually have bearing on new criminal activity as far as sentencing and things like that?
Yeah. Well,
if you're going to bring it up because it somehow affects things now, then what is a habitual offender?
Yeah. So a habitual offender in the state of Indiana is somebody who has committed multiple felonies over a period of time and been convicted of those multiple felonies. So committed them, been arrested for, been charged and convicted with multiple crimes of different types of families. So
I'm assuming he's bringing this up because the driver and the passenger are both multiple felony offenders?
Nope, neither one of them are.
They're not.
Nope, amazing. Neither the driver nor the passenger are her habitual. Let me tell you, in the prosecutor's office would often say this. There would be a case of an individual that would come in, and we would put a sticky note on it and say, we're going to file the bitch. And that's what it would be, which means the habitual offender. And you can file it. That's a separate filing in and of itself. And you would give them the bitch is what we would call it. You're going to give them the bitch. Oh, this guy has committed felony OWI. He's got several charges for felony theft. He's got felony dealing in cocaine, a couple felony dealing in cocaine, and all within, a 3, 4, 5 year period. And you would have multiple criminal convictions where you are charged and convicted of these felonies. And they then file, it's just an enhancement. And for people that aren't watching, Kate knows that answer. She's not like trying to say these people. She's playing devil's advocate and opening it up she's being the audience member here. These people, neither one are habitual offenders. Neither one of them have an extensive criminal history. Neither one of them have an extensive criminal arrest record. And I think that this is slander. I think what the sheriff has done here as a person in a position of authority, as a person who is an elected public servant, to be talking directly about certain individuals who he's naming, I think that this, along with all of the other issues, I think that slander and or defamation works here. Okay. I want to say what Bruce Mann is saying here, and I know, he makes a good point. I agree. There's two sides to every story, and the video being showed doesn't show everything. So if this is true, then please show the officer's viewpoint, show the body cams, show the dash cams. So for everyone who's here, I want to be clear. I have filed a record request for any and all jail filings, the filings from the day that he was booked in. I want the surveillance video from when they went in and filed him and did all of that. I want any and all police reports written by the arresting officer, the first deputy, the backup deputy, and anybody else there that may have filed something on this. I want any and all other supplemental reports, any other reports from any other officer or agency that was involved. I want any and all dash cams and body cams as a result of this, and I want it all. Okay? Now, what sucks is we know, as a matter of fact, we know there will be no body camera from the plainclothes deputy, and there will be no body camera from the second plainclothes deputy. Just not there. They may have dash cams. We'll find out. I don't know. But that's crazy. Okay, let's continue on because our sheriff here isn't done.
I'm not going to elaborate on that, as this statement is about facts and not personal attacks.
Excuse me? Excuse me? This guy can't honestly believe what he's saying. What? Oh, I thought you were. Oh, yeah. This dude is nuts. This is about facts. It's about factual information, and literally everything that I just got done saying was not factual, but it's about facts. I just want you guys to hear what he's doing. He is assassinating their character. This is character assassination. I want you guys to hear this. We're going to back this up and replay this.
Increase the danger to the lives and well-being of our law enforcement officers and their families. My officer's mother called me crying because they are receiving death threats over this short video clip that knowingly, wrongfully portrays this incident in which the suspect put everyone's safety at risk.
Stop. First of all, if anybody is out there threatening these deputies, don't be doing that. Don't push the higher ground off and give in to them. Don't do that. Don't be threatening these people. Don't be foolish. Right now, these people have the upper hand. We've got the upper hand. They are in a corner, okay? Don't give up the ground. Don't give up the ground. We've got it. You don't need to be doing that. Don't be threatening these people. Don't be saying dumb shit on social media. Look, you got a First Amendment right. Do say whatever, but be willing to pay the consequences. But don't give in to the lesser arguments. There's no need to do that. We've got the upper ground. So if that's happening, stop. If that has happened, I hate it, and my thoughts and my prayers are with the officer's family or whatever, because the officer's family didn't do any of this. They don't deserve anything. So I hate that. But if this officer's mom is calling in to his boss and saying, we're getting threatened, that's weird. That's weird. If my mother ever called the chief of the department when I was a cop and been like, I would have literally lost it. I would have went backwards. And ladies and gentlemen, Joe is right. This statement has been released on an official government page. Okay. This is up there, and it has been published on his official government page. It cannot be deleted. I have the recording of the video unedited and just straight through, so we're safe there. But yeah, that's big. Now I will tell you, this is on Facebook, so it eventually will be it eventually will go away because Facebook deletes their things. That's the reason I recorded it and I'm saving it. So we will always have this, hopefully for their attorney at some point, whatever down the road, because I think after 30 days they let them go. So yeah, wow, no weapons. He must have said something officer didn't like, but not being charged with threat. Yeah, it's really interesting because the guy didn't have, the passenger didn't have any weapons on him, whatever. So we're gonna back this up because I know that Brian wanted to hear this. I just wanted to talk to you about this. The mom of the officer calling in. It's nuts.
It is precisely this stuff right here that has exponentially increased the danger to the lives and well-being of our law enforcement officers and their families. My officer's mother called me crying because they are receiving death threats over this short video clip that knowingly, wrongfully portrays this incident in which the suspect put everyone's safety at risk. I will not stand for it. I will not tolerate it, and I am sick of it. Now, I want to speak in regard to the other two parties involved, Amy, the driver, and her husband, Brian, the passenger. Both have had extensive encounters with law enforcement. Both have been arrested numerous times. I'm not going to elaborate on that, as this statement is about facts and not personal attacks. Now, here are the facts of the interactions that occurred during the traffic stop that led to Brian's arrest. The incident began on southbound State Road 3, just south of I-70, when the suspect's vehicle attempted to unlawfully change lanes over a solid white line out of a right turn-only lane. Their vehicle came well across the solid line and nearly struck my officer's fully marked sheriff vehicle. My officer then observed the female driver and male passenger flagrantly waving their hands and yelling while they came to an abrupt stop near the lanes of travel. My officer then safely pulled over to the right and stopped in front of them to observe as to whether they were in a domestic dispute or having some kind of medical emergency. At this point, they pulled back onto the roadway, passing my officer. My officer then pulled back on the roadway behind them and activated his emergency lights to initiate a lawful traffic stop in order to ascertain whether they were having a medical emergency or to figure out exactly what was going on and why they nearly caused a crash. My officer was not on duty and not in uniform and was driving a fully marked vehicle. He was acting well within his lawful duty to ensure the safety of the public. I will note that all of our officers wear body cameras while in uniform and on duty, and none of our sheriff vehicles have in-car cameras.
There you go.
Therefore, we do not have video footage of this incident. However, it is obvious the suspects have video footage of this incident, showing one segment and not releasing the full video of the entire incident. My officer approached the...
Now stop. It's things like that he says that we know that he is fully lying. He says they have the full video, but they're only showing one side of it. That's an assumption. She's clearly said multiple times, I've read it where she's posted it, that she flipped the camera on only after everything started going crazy, because normal people don't think that they need to record these interactions. I'm telling you, folks, you need to. You need to. So we just heard, he just said it. No body cameras because they weren't in uniform. And that's the policy that needs to be made. If they're going to be out here operating in plainclothes capacity, then they need to be wearing body cams and be activating these. They need to be having dash cameras and activating these in plain clothes. In plain clothes. So, no, Paula, I want to be very clear. They have body cameras if they were in uniform, but because the two were out of uniform, there are no body cameras. There are no body cameras. Yes, 911 calls are recorded. I have requested that. We will get the 911 call. We will have everything. Every bit of that we will get.
Vehicle on the passenger side where the driver's husband, Brian, was sitting. Prior to my officer verbally engaging anyone, Brian and the driver, Amy, were yelling obscenities at him and telling him that he doesn't have the right to pull them over because he's not in uniform. My officer informed them that he was...
Now, I don't know if that's true. He is stating information that it's a he said, she said. He's saying his officer said this. From what I'm hearing from the people in the vehicle, that's not true. From what I'm hearing, Brian was asking, why are you... That Amy was just kind of confused about what was going on. You know, I don't think we didn't hear anything crazy when the camera was on, and I'm not sure that the passenger would have known that she turned the camera on. And so you didn't hear him being vulgar and carrying on. It's just crazy that's happening, because I don't think that happened, but let's just pretend for the sake of argument that it did happen. Let's say for the sake of argument that the officer walked up and they were both cursing, and they were both very hot-headed, and they were upset. Let's say that happened. Okay? There's nothing illegal about that. And like someone said here, Angie said, wow, but he let them go with a warning. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. When I pull you over and there's two people in a vehicle, and if I'm going to give you a warning, there are times when the passenger, because of having an attitude, has talked somebody into getting a ticket. That happens. But he didn't give them a ticket. He let them go. He was letting them go. So I just can't help but think their attitudes weren't so bad because he didn't write them. He was letting them go. He told them they were free to go once, twice, at least twice, if not three times. Okay? Let's continue on.
Simply wanting to make sure they were okay and were not having some kind of a medical emergency or domestic dispute. After some time of both occupants yelling and cursing at my officer, he was able to retrieve the driver's license. He told both occupants to stay put, and he returned his patrol vehicle to ensure the driver was valid. While he was returning to his patrol vehicle, Brian aggressively exited the vehicle while yelling and aggressively approaching my officer. He was ordered to get back in the vehicle, to which he reluctantly complied. Upon confirming the driver was valid, my officer approached the passenger side of the vehicle again and returned the driver's license to the driver and told her that he was not going to issue any type of citation and that they were free to go. Brian, who was continuing
to yell at my officer, right there,
then opened and shoved his door into my office.
We heard it right there. We heard it right there. He even says he was free to go. They said he was free to go. So from the point that they're free to go, it's done. He's walking away. There should be no more. There should be no more. Now, wait a minute. I want to go back up here and see. Somebody asked if there was an edit. Are you claiming that there appears to be an edit in Sproles' video? Is that what we're claiming? Let's go back and take a look.
Or having some kind of medical emergency. At this point, they pulled back onto the roadway, passing my officer. My officer then pulled back on the roadway behind them and activated his emergency lights to initiate a lawful traffic stop in order to ascertain whether they were having a medical emergency or to figure out exactly what was going on and why they nearly caused a crash. My officer was not on duty and not in uniform and was driving a fully marked vehicle. He was acting well within his lawful duty to ensure the safety of the public. I will note that all of our officers wear body cameras while in uniform and on duty, and none of our sheriff vehicles have in-car cameras. Therefore, we do not have video footage of this incident. However, it is obvious the suspects have video footage of this incident, but they are only showing one segment and not releasing the full video of the entire incident. My officer approached the vehicle on the passenger side where the driver's husband, Brian, was sitting. Prior to my officer verbally engaging anyone, Brian and the driver, Amy, were yelling obscenities at him and telling him that he doesn't have the right to pull them over because he's not in uniform. My officer informed them that he was simply wanting to make sure they were okay and were not having some kind of a medical emergency or domestic dispute. After some time of both occupants yelling and cursing at my officer, he was able to retrieve the driver's license. He told both occupants to stay put, and he returned his patrol vehicle to ensure the driver was valid. While he was returning to his patrol vehicle, Brian aggressively exited the vehicle while yelling and aggressively approaching my officer. He was ordered to get back in the vehicle, to which he reluctantly complied. Upon confirming the driver was valid, my officer approached the passenger side of the vehicle again and returned the driver's license to the driver and told her that he was not going to issue any type of citation and that they were free to go. Brian, who was continuing to yell at my officer, then opened and shoved his door into my officer while aggressively attempting to get out of his vehicle again. Brian also made physical contact with my officer through the open passenger door window. My officer was attempting to close the door to keep Brian in the vehicle, but Brian's legs were already outside of the vehicle and my officer was unable to get the door closed. This is where their video picks up. Being my officer could not get the door closed, he then opened the door fully and attempted to gain control of Brian. When Brian's shirt came off, my officer then retreated to his vehicle to call for backup. While my officer was at his vehicle calling for backup, Brian again exited his vehicle aggressively and started coming toward my officer. An off-duty lieutenant happened to observe the traffic stop and pulled into the scene to observe Brian aggressively coming to my officer for the third time. Both deputies then attempted to gain control of Brian by handcuffing him behind his back while Brian actively resisted them. Brian continued to actively resist them after they were able to place him in the front passenger seat of the patrol vehicle. Brian then continued to kick at them and kick to hold the door open in order to keep them from closing it. Brian continued to resist for some time, but officers were finally able to secure him safely in the vehicle. While en route to the jail, Brian apologized to my officer for his actions and told them he was just having a bad effing day because they were having it rough financially.
I feel like it seems like, yeah, you're right. You're right, Eric. That's exactly right. First off, and second of all, the sheriff is like more upset that Brian said he was sorry that he was having a bad effing day. That's like got Sproles more off here than anything.
And him and his wife had been in a verbal argument over everything. When my officer was leaving the jail, Brian asked him if he could shake his hand in order to apologize to him, in which my officer complied. Brian has been preliminary charged with battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct. We will continue to uphold our HCSO mission statement of do justice, love mercy, and be humble. Thank you for your time. Hello.
So there you go, folks. There you go. Yeah. I'm going to get all of that. We're going to get all of that video and see all this going down. And you know what? Maybe Brian did ask to shake hands. Brian, from the very little short period of time that I've spoke to him, seems like a nice guy. Maybe he did say, hey, I'm sorry for being upset out there. Okay. That doesn't mean that he was like saying like, well, shucks, I guess I'll do my time. Just because you're saying, I'm sorry how things went down doesn't mean that you're saying, hey, I admit that I did wrongdoing. The other thing is, and what's going to be really interesting is when we find out that he was preliminarily booked in for disorderly conduct and resisting. Now, if after all of this, they went back and upped it now to battery on a law enforcement officer, that, my friends, is going to be really weird. It's going to be really weird. Okay. I think the sheriff hurt them so bad. I think he hurt himself. I think he hurt the sheriff's department. I think that he caused himself just so much distress that's not needed, because he cannot control his mouth. He cannot control his actions. He is like a child. That's probably what the prosecutor told him to do. Now, I'll say this: they wouldn't need to do that, even if what's the prosecutor's name? Maloney. Even if he was going to formally charge them with battery on a law enforcement officer, you wouldn't need to go back and fumble with the paperwork and fake shit there at the jail. All that stuff would just look so bad. I'm going to get the probable cause sheet on all of this, and we will find out, folks. I can tell you the other thing here is, And I want the sheriff to understand this. I want the sheriff to understand this, and I want all of his men and women to understand this. The crime, the action, the issue is bad. But as we say here, the cover-up is always worse than the crime. So whatever you do here, don't go changing things. Don't go falsifying documents, because it will be found out, and that will only be that much worse for those people involved with that. Right now, this is a problem for the deputy, the lieutenant that was there, plainclothes, and the sheriff, in my opinion. And the sheriff didn't need to be part of it. But he could not let an opportunity go from where he could just jump in and open his mouth and spurt out bullshit. Sproles has done it before, mandated his deputies rewrite reports. Remember that one? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me take you a step further. David LaRue, will ISP be involved? Very good possibility. Very good possibility that would happen. They were there. I feel like they should offer up some kind of a report. I would assume that they had body cameras on. We will be requesting those. I have not requested the body cameras from the state troopers yet, but I'm requesting body cameras from the sheriff's department, which I know, our guys that were there didn't have it. I don't know about the other people that showed up later, from Newcastle and from the state troopers. So that'll happen. The other thing that I want to say, Kid Rock. The other thing that I want to say here is, I don't want. I want the people in the sheriff's department to be very careful, because I could see these people trying to harass the Bells, trying to, watch them when they leave their house and stop them. Don't make this any worse. Don't create a bigger problem for the department, for yourselves here. It's not needed. You don't need it. Just let this stand on what it is, and do not make the situation worse. It's nuts. This is piss poor leadership. The people of Henry County need to be paying attention. We saw someone say earlier that the only current candidate that has filed is Randy Howard. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't understand why he filed. He's not a police officer. I know that anyone can file. Whatever. It'll be interesting. The race will be interesting. I'm hoping that there are some people that are retired law enforcement, maybe someone from another department, I'm hoping somebody will file that will do good, and that we can get behind and create a good candidate that will do a good job for the people of Henry County. I want to see. Someone said something. Another 2 hours wasted talking about Sproles. This is great content. David Williams, I hope they do too. Randy has my vote. He's a good man. I'm not saying anything negative about Randy. I just, it'll definitely be interesting. I want to go back and look. Isn't it weird how, like, every crazy thing that Sproles and co do. It always happens right around the first of the year. Isn't that weird? I don't know. Just kind of thing. Is that thinking that's a little strange. A black sheriff. I would love that. That would be amazing. What? Or gay? What? A black sheriff, a gay sheriff, a black gay sheriff who's in a wheelchair and is a Jew. Oh, that would be awesome. Hey, I tell you what, I could take, Roger Humphreys. Roger Humphreys could do it. I would back that dude in a minute. An ex-state trooper and maybe a man of color who's had an interaction with Sproles. Yeah. Brian Pryor says 100%. I'm telling you what, I'm putting that straight out here. Roger Humphreys for Sheriff of Henry County, that's got a damn good sound to it. And isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's the other thing. And Jason Rigney has thought up a really... Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. That sucks. Listen to this. It doesn't make sense that the deputy would wave the trooper on and then call for backup on a stop where you got a hostile guy, who's yelling and carrying on, and the trooper was there, and it was the dude that tried to wave the trooper on, but then the cop was like, the deputy's like, no, thank you, we've got it's all under control here. So it'll be interesting to find out what that trooper's perspective is. So I will try and see if we can find out who that was, if they have any input on this whatsoever. So that's good. I'm gonna write that down. I'm glad you said that. Find trooper that was waved on. Good. That's interesting. Yeah, I will poll. I will request the report if there's any from the state troopers. They may or may not have a report, to be perfectly honest. Brian says, I think the sheriff stated an officer set off and watched the officer call for help or something along those lines. I'll try to find that out as well. There was a state trooper that got to the scene, Hannah, but I think what happened was, either the trooper came back around after being waved off, or it was just another trooper that got called because she contacted 911. So there were two different... Basically, there were three different waves of cops. There's the initial stop with the bells being pulled over by plainclothes deputy 1. Then he gets her license and goes back to the car. The passenger bell tries to wave down a trooper, and deputy 1 says, get back in your car. Whatever. Then when all the madness happens, he runs back to call for some kind of backup, while she also calls 911. His backup comes in the form of another off-duty cop who's also in plain clothes. And then there's a wave of other officers that come to the scene because of her phone call. That's how it went. Does it make sense that he let them off with a warning if they in need were shouting and cursing at him? No, not really. I think a sit down with the people and law enforcement officers on protocols like the Bible says, come, let us reason together. That would be interesting. That would definitely be an interesting sit down. I would like to moderate that. That would be cool. Let's see here. It was in that video that he put out. Yeah. Let's see. Where else? Okay, sorry. I'm looking for something here. Give me 1 second. Which her phone call was never even yeah, that's what's really strange. They wouldn't even deal with her on her phone call. So that's what's crazy. I wonder what the radio traffic was from that evening. I'll tell you, it was from well, let's just listen really quickly. I know we're going long. Give me 1 second, because it was from Saturday morning, and I can pull that up and listen to that right now. Give me 1 second, and we can just listen to that, and it's not something we even have to wait to come back for. We can listen to that right now, and we can find that out. And so there's no reason to even delay that. Give me 1 second, and we will find that out. Okay. United States, Indiana, Henry County, Henry County Public Safety. Ooh, okay. All right. It was Saturday the 10th, and it happened at about 10:30 in the morning. So we'll start at 9:52. Okay, and this is going to be very easy to be able to get through. Ronnie Williams, a lot of people ask about the front seat. Here's the thing. A lot of cops are going to now transporting in the front seat now. It sounds crazy. It's honestly easier to control a suspect if they're in the front seat. The fact that he was placed in the front seat, to me, isn't a big deal. It's not the make or break of a situation. A lot of people were saying that, and it is what it is. Everything else is crazy. Is around it is crazy. Okay, folks. We're going to find out what we're going to do here. We're going to go through this quickly. So start.
Medic, signal 125 East Harrison Street.
No, that's not it.
Just for 43. Patient out of
Not it.
Medic 3.
Yeah.
Not it.
Johnson. Rescue.
Not it.
Special 647.
Okay, wait.
338. 3 and 100 North. David Tom Young.
That's not it. Wait, what did Alva say? Alva said 1037. Why are you saying 1037? Why is Alva saying that? How do you know that exactly? What would make you say that? If it wasn't on the radio, is what I'm saying. His call for backup better have happened, although dispatch and not on a cell phone. Request cell phone. Oh, yeah, that would definitely happen. Absolutely. You said this. You said 10. You said 1037. I don't know what that 1037 thing is, Alva. Okay, we're going to continue on here.
Dispatch 802-27.
802.
Jackson, Jefferson, 181.
802.
Pretty's out with 8. 3230. 226, 211, 52. 225, 1038, 23rd and I.
25.
23rd and I.
C. Charles L. Lincoln, P. Zebra, 820.
225.
Okay.
210, 211 dispatch.
11.
814 B Avenue, 4911 incomplete.
Nope.
For 43, someone advises there's two.
Off of
Nope.
2nd Street.
Nope. Okay.
3.
Okay.
Nope.
33 acre status.
10's going 23.
10.
Okay.
Just for 43, it sounded like a kid on the phone.
Was a 911 only phone.
Pay from
225's out on beat.
Okay.
225. Dispatch 11 good mark today.
Nope.
Do they have enough security cameras?
Nope.
38 your status. I'm about to.
Okay. Okay.
29, go ahead.
300 South Commerce Drive, Charles, X-ray, 550.
29.
This could be it.
Dispatch item today.
Mike, sir.
211, 225. Go ahead. Both of those signal 40 people, I don't think live here anymore. No, I think the male fled to Kentucky. The other one, I think, in prison.
Just like
225, right? 225. 10's in service.
10.
no.
18 back in service.
Rescue 18.
Dispatch 26, 1028.
Okay.
26.
David Paul, Victor 516.
26 return.
Good.
Levi Burton out of Newcastle, 2016 Dodge Challenger, white and collar, 3726.
Challenger or Charger?
No.
Charger.
Okay.
Dispatch 11.
211, go ahead.
Getting all about 1046 at 19th in Indiana. I just checked on them. They're 5'2". They got help.
Down for.
Dispatch 808 0.7.
Okay.
County Line Road and Highway 140.
Okay. 952. That wasn't it. So we'll have to go back and listen. Okay. Let's make sure. Clicked on Saturday the 10th. And that was 952. So we're going to start at 1022. Oh, this will be real easy because there's only a couple blurbs.
County Line Road and Highway 140. Edward 2315.
Down for.
is going to be en route to enemy community health. Dispatch, Medic 6 is going to be en route to enemy community health.
Medic 6.
Medic 6.
Come on, quit doing that.
Medic 6. Dispatch, Medic 6 is arriving, enemy community health. Medic 6. Dispatch 808. Connect.
Okay.
208.
Here we go.
Dispatch 802, signal 27.
It's gotta be one of these in here.
Either do.
If they do it over the radio.
Just south of the elementary school. 109. 888 Tom King, 365 Mary.
No.
Dispatch Medic 6 is going to be clear of the hospital.
No.
Dispatch Medic 6 is going to be clear of the hospital.
Dude, shut up. Medic 6 is hot, like loud. Okay, we gotta be coming up here soon. Okay.
225, 1038, 18th and M. 225. T Tom, V David, J John, 351. Over.
Okay, 1022. This will be the last thing. If not, everything else would have been done on MDT or whatever. It's real weird if this is the case. Let's listen here. Not a lot here, so this will be quick.
Dispatch 3326.
Uh-oh.
3326, go ahead.
At 27, status and points only.
Go ahead with it.
This is it.
040047882.
Guarantee you this is it.
Dispatch 3326.
Guarantee you that's him.
3326, go ahead.
At 27, status and points only.
Because he asks for 127, which is 1027, which is driver's license, and he asks for status.
0400478.
Okay, here we go.
26, it's valid. 0 point.
Valid, 0 points. Guarantee you that's her. Okay. Now let's hear what happens here.
Dispatch 802, signal 27.
202.
That's not.
It's a Jeep towing a trailer. I can't see the plate. Just north of the elementary school on 109.
Come on, come on.
202.
26. Dispatch, give me another one. I've got one resisting at Taste of India.
202.
That's it. I got one resisting at Taste of India.
26. Dispatch, give me another one. I've got one resisting at Taste of India. 36 is that one. 36 is that one.
And that quickly, he's got another plainclothes backup out with him.
10-4.
Huh. Now let's see if they dispatch a 911 call.
There, Taste of India.
There's the dispatch call.
There, Taste of India. 26, I believe your female is on the phone with 911 calling in.
Head that way until they advise. Head that way until they advise.
Okay.
And I'm around the 30s in route as well. Aim 28.
They're all screaming.
Aim 28.
10-4.
Okay. So then all
30s 23.
So here we go.
30s 23.
So now he's on scene.
30.
29 and 226 out.
Okay.
10-4.
2823.
He's there. Oops.
Alright.
There. Okay.
Dispatch 26.
All right.
3326, go ahead.
76035 the mill.
Yep.
Dispatch 26.
3326, go ahead.
76035 the mill.
10-4.
Taking him to jail.
Okay. Dispatch 336, you can mark me 1042 again.
Offer.
That's the lieutenant. 33-6.
226 tonight, back around the city.
10-4.
20 and 30 or change.
10-4.
Yep.
That's 26 to 23.
Okay. Now the guys, they're at the jail. He just arrived at the jail.
Dispatch 26, my computer's on. Did you start me an incident?
Yeah, sir.
Thank you.
So I'll go through and have those exact times. So that ended basically at 11:19 or something like that. So that was it. So we did hear that. I'm going to go and play one last. So 10:52. I'm going to go through and play one last thing. Then we'll wrap it up here, folks. But I'm glad somebody said this, because this is a good thing. I'm glad one of you said, whoever said this said it, because
26, my computer's on. Did you start me?
this was good. Oh, let's see what we got here.
Thank you. County units attempt to locate reckless driving complaint. A gray minivan, 40, license plate. You advise that they're slumped over. Get it there, stopped over.
Same lane. She is now stopped on the side of the road. City continued on eastbound on 40.
No.
Is there city unit on station that can take a report?
No.
Dispatch 802.
Go ahead.
Can you give that vehicle description again?
It's going to be a 2013 and girl is 40. They're pulled over on the side of the road.
Okay.
Clear.
Be advised, she was swerving all over the roadway, almost striking.
No. Come on now, damn it. Okay, nothing here.
5. Not seeing anybody pulled over or any description. I think they continued east.
Okay, obviously they must have.
City units observed for a reckless driver northbound on 103, 300 south. By a gray minivan. I believe it's the same minivan from 40. It's going to be RST.
Okay, come on.
567. Robert San Tom 567. It's still northbound or south.
That's clear.
Northbound.
He probably does everything else over the phone. There's probably nothing else.
High rate of speed. He's on the wrong side of the road. Still west. Vehicles approaching State Road 3. Road 3 from Riley.
Yeah, there's nothing else.
CP advice. 225.
Guns out.
328 dispatch. Or 33-8 dispatch.
Right.
Hang it, checks.
Okay.
416, you're on Henry County.
That's exactly right, Bruce. Last thing here, we'll just give it and double check.
Dispatch 802 signal 27.
Nope, that's it. Well, I'm glad that we listened to that because now I know the time, and I will put this together for them as well, so they can hear this, and this will help with the rest of the record requests that I follow with the state police or whatever. So whoever brought that up, good looking out. I would have got there eventually, but I just had not done that yet. So I'm glad that we went through there. You guys got to hear that. Big day for Sproles, opening the opportunity to open his mouth and insert himself in this situation, smearing this big shitstorm all over the place, completely ignorant what he did here. And it's just more of the same with Sheriff Sproles, Henry County. It's crazy. And I'll tell you what he does. He does what so many other people do. Anytime he does something stupid, he can't help himself. He does stupid thing, and then another stupid thing, and then another stupid thing, and then it's like anytime he gets going, he can't stop. He tries to outdo himself. So who knows what will happen over the next couple days, weeks, and months? We shall see. Tomorrow, I will try to get back on top of what we were originally going to do tonight. So tune in then. Hey, before you guys roll, smash the like button if you have not. That would be fantastic. We would love it if you could hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. You know that we're live here Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. 5 nights a week. But if you subscribe and click the bell, you'll get notified. That's a big help. We love you when you communicate with us and talk to us, whether you do it live or via replay. So that's awesome. Share the show with everyone you know. And you guys have a good evening. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful, Wednesday, Board of Works Day, a lot of other things. Take care of each other and yourselves, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.